guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shannon Margaret B and I'm so happy to have you here. I love some thrifted and backlist books, however, sometimes I accumulate too many of them. So as in the title of this video, we are going to look at the situation that's going on behind my bedroom door, which is my TBR. She's gotten a little messy. I have books kind of just thrown on there. I don't even have all the spines out. I did redo my TBR last year around this time-ish, you know, spring cleaning kicks in. So that's what I need to do today, is spring clean my TBR, because it just looks so overwhelming. And it literally happened to me the other day where I could not find a book and I was like, I know I own this book, like it has to be here. I was like diving for the book and I was like, this should not be happening. My read books are in my crafting hobby library room, so those two shelves are everything I've read that I've wanted to keep. So this is truly like my TBR, except the bottom shelf of this is books that I've read that I for some reason can't get rid of. So I'll show you those because you might think it's interesting to see like what I weirdly just can't part ways with. I definitely want to unhaul as I spring clean my TBR. I mean, I posted like my winter book haul, so it makes more than enough sense that my TBR is starting to feel a little overwhelming, although I have been doing really good at reading all of the books on my TBR, so it's just that I've kind of just accumulated too many. I am going to go shelf by shelf and clean out, and I will go through and unhaul as I go. So I'm going to give you first the rundown of how things look over there right now, and then I'm going to start unhauling and cleaning up things on the shelf. Okay, so this is the top shelf. Sorry if my hand's shaky. I am not this tall. I have this as like my series shelf with some sci-fi, but then also some like second books in series. So the Stephen King's and the series on the side of my Game of Thrones and Seven Sisters series, I think I'm going to leave those, but I want to fix whatever the heck this is. And then my next shelf was romance and historical fiction, which I did like it like that, and I think like the amount of books I have of each of those categories, those two categories do work together well, but I think I might just change where that is, just like a general fiction shelf, and then my book haul just accumulated in front of it because of just how busy I've been lately. I have not fixed it. This was my thriller shelf, although now I'm seeing like sci-fi and historical fiction. So again, I don't know what happened to this, but this was my thriller shelf because it is the tallest, so I can fit the most on there and I have the most thrillers. And then coming down, this was my mystery area. However, I'm like seeing The Night Circus and The Last Book Party and then some book haul here. So again, don't really know what happened. And then this is nonfiction. And then all the way at the bottom, these are the books I can't really part with, and I don't know why. The two books in the corner are books that people have loaned to me, and I just haven't gotten them back to them. This is like mostly like my young adults that like got me into reading that I feel like I just can't part ways with. All right, I got the goods. I got the Lysol, got the paper towels, and I got myself a seltzer. So I think I'm ready to take on this bookshelf. Okay, that was probably the easiest shelf just because I wasn't changing a lot of things. I'm gonna unhaul two books from that shelf, and one is The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. If I am gonna read a like witchy book, I really want to finish the All Souls trilogy. I have the next book in it. Not like super drawn into the witchy world of Alice Hoffman. And then the other one I'm gonna unhaul is from the Stephen King section, and that is The Gunslinger. I don't think I'll ever start the Dark Tower series, and I feel like old me kept this because it's like a very vintage copy. It's very cool. It has like, oh, that's a disturbing picture to show you. Oh, is there any like happier pictures? Okay, here we go. They're very like, there's illustrations throughout. I have so many other Stephen Kings that I really, really want to read. I just don't see myself ever getting into the Dark Tower series. Like I said, nothing really changed. This was really easy. Game of Thrones, Seven Sisters, and then I have some sci-fi I really want to try. Amy Alderman's books, and the second book, To Ninth House, I have to get to. And then some books that I recently hauled. I really want to read this Vox one. It is about like a dystopian society where women can only say a certain amount of words, and that just sounds crazy. And then my Stephen King's, which I really am hoping to do a Stephen King reading week soon. so the general fiction shelf is done. I did have to add, I realized I was missing some books. Pods to Kill Mary needed to be up here. The Night and the Moth had to be up here because I wanted it to be like sci-fi and fantasy up here. So I was able to fit those in. Surprised how many pink books are on the literary fiction, because I feel like my literary fiction tends to be kind of dark. So I'm just think it's so funny how many like red and pinks there are. So I wanted to point out some of my like very anticipated reads, which is a big Swiss. I really want to read My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. Wellness by Nathan Hill. I feel like not everyone loved it, but I'm obsessed with the copy that I got from Book Outlet last year, and I love Anthony Doerr, so I'm excited for that one. And I really want to read Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. I'm just intimidated by how large it is. And also the fact I love Goldfinch so much is a crime that I have not read The Secret History just yet. I did unhaul quite a bit from this. No, I'm gonna unhaul 1, 2, 3 by Lori Frankel. This was a case of I think this was in my book hunt video last year. I wasn't thrilled with the selection, and I feel like I was like forcing myself to buy books, and that's how I ended up with this one. It is an art copy, and I do love the cover. I think it's so pretty, but the story I think is about like a town's water getting damaged and the effects of that, and it just is not something I'm like crazy interested in reading about. And this one I've had literally forever. The Starless Sea. This book is so heavy, and I don't love my copy of it. I'm just realizing now it says it's a signed copy. Is it really a signed copy? It is a signed copy. That's funny. Well, maybe someone else will appreciate the signed copy. Oh, I just feel like I am also going to get rid of the Night Circus. I've had the Night Circus on my shelves. I think it's the longest book I've had on my TBR that's been unread. I didn't even take the sticker off this one. This is Make Me Famous by Maud Ventura. I don't know if it's the cover that's not getting me. The story just sounds kind of like blah. It's about this girl who's like obsessed with becoming famous, and then she is, and then she's like reflecting on her past. The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This book was really popular. I watched like a few very troublesome reviews on this book, and it just made me like, things in this book are things that like really bother me in books from these reviews is what I've gathered. So I don't think I'm going to put myself through trying to read this if I know there's literally something that happens in this book that I really hate. Did you hear about Kitty Carr by Crystal Smith Paul? I remember when this came out, a lot of people were like, it's like a Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo knockoff a little bit, which I know is really mean to say, but honestly it gives the same exact vibe. This one's kind of sad because this is a YA. This is You Against Me by Jenny Downham. She wrote Before I Die, which turned into the movie like Never Let Me Go or something with Dakota Fanning, and it was such a good movie, and I loved the book Before I Die. I unfortunately got rid of it. Wish I kept it because that was a huge book into getting me into reading in like middle school, and I don't really love to read YA anymore, so I'm going to pass this on. These two are actually a series. You can let me know if you've read these, but the first one is called Rush, which I read and I enjoyed, and each book follows like a brother. I think it's 3 brothers or business partners, and they each is like a spicy, sexy story. And I think I've tried Fever is the second one, and oh wow, I did get to quite a far 200. I just like don't feel the need to go back to these. I think these are like OG spicy books, and I just feel like the climate of spice has changed. Like you can literally see how like these tried to be so inconspicuous back then because like spicy reading was not a thing. Oh yeah, it's called the Breathless Trilogy. I've just had these for years and I've never picked them up. The next shelf, romance and historical fiction. A lot of it has been now moved to the floor. So we'll see how that goes. I also know I'm totally gonna end up finding a ton of like general fiction that needs to go on this fiction shelf, which I definitely can't even fit anything on that shelf anymore. And I'm trying to avoid the double stack. This one may have been my most difficult. Also, I realized I had way more literary fiction, so I did unhaul a few more and fit them in. But yeah, had to do some shuffling. I don't love the books laying on top, but I love that I can see everything. I think this actually might have been my favorite shelf that turned out. So this is historical fiction over here. I'm really excited for the Kate Quinn books. A Secret Kept, I think, goes along with Sarah's Key by Tatiana de Rosenay, and I loved Sarah's Key so much, so I can't wait to read this one. And over here is all my romance, which I really love. It's just so pink and girly over here. I tried to take the sticker from Goodwill off Lights Out, and it literally ripped the spine, so I'm so upset about that. This made me so excited for my romance. I'm really excited for You Again and Deep Cuts. Taking me so much longer than I thought, like literally the sun is setting. I have some unhauls from that section. The only historical fiction that I'm unhauling is The German Heiress by Annika Scott. I have so many World War II stories. This one does sound pretty interesting, but I just love Kate Quinn's writing so much. So I think, and I have a bunch of hers, and one of them takes place around this timeline, so I just think I'm gonna read hers over Annika Scott's, but I'm sure this is good. It is All's Well by Mona Awad. I'm very, very excited to read Bunny, but this is about someone with chronic pain, and it's been on my TBR forever, and I never felt the need to read it. And it is Beautiful Runes by Jess Walter. If you've read this, actually let me know, because I could be persuaded to read this one. 1962 Italian coastline. So the setting sounds cool. I've just never gravitated towards it, and I can't really figure out if it's like a mystery, a literary fiction, a romance. I can't really figure out what it is, therefore I've just never felt intrigued. Then the last one is Outlander. I actually tried to read this for a vlog last year. I got to page 188, and I have tried to read the beginning of Outlander more times than I can count over the years. I just can't get through it. I love like the Scotland scenery, and I did like the relationship that was going on. I don't know, it didn't get me as much as I wanted it to get me, and part of me just wants to watch the show, which never happens. But I'm kind of like, at this point, this thing is so long, I don't know if I'll actually ever commit to finishing this, unfortunately. Also, I think like an ex-boyfriend's family member gave me this, so like, I don't feel totally inclined to keep it. Anyway, we're going on to probably the hardest section, which is going to be, this is going to be my thriller shelf. So you would think like mostly what's left is just thrillers, so I should just be able to throw them on, but I think I am going to be pretty particular. I love thrillers, and I probably have the most opinions about thrillers of what I want to read and what authors I want to read. Problems, because I don't know where to put my unread Ellen Hilderbrand, and you're probably like, girl, do you need that many Ellen Hildebrands? Yes, I usually read about 3 to 4 Ellen Hildebrands a summer, so like these, probably half of these will be on my read shelf by the end of summer. I just love reading her books that time of year. Like, I love them so much. I think she might be one of my most read authors, possibly. There was just no shot these were gonna fit on the literary fiction shelf, so I have to figure out where these will go. So truthfully, this probably looks chaotic, but this looks 10 times better to me, and I can literally see every book. That's why I kept these stacked short. They might look weird, but I actually love how this came out, and I was pretty stingy with what thrillers I kept, and I'm so excited about all of these. I had to read Wanda and Morris. I think I'm gonna read these pretty soon. But yeah, even these, I know they're blocked, but I can kind of see them still. Obviously, some of these, like Apples Never Fall, I don't know if that's more of like a literary fiction mystery, but we're doing our best over here. Also, Madame might be like horror. I liked that even getting this little stack in, I could still see all of the books, and I'm so excited to read The Woman in Suite 11. I'm hoping to get to that pretty soon. This will surprise no one. This is The Girl from Widow Hills by Megan Miranda. I had tried this last year. I didn't like it, and then I did my Megan Miranda second chance reading vlog, and I still did not enjoy her books. But I did keep Daughter of Mine on my TBR. I think that was in the Goodreads choice when it came out that year. So I've heard that that one's a good one. So I'm willing to try again, but I am going to get rid of The Girl from Widow Hills. The next one is My Husband's Wife by Jane Corey. You might see me in the clips. I was like trying to reread synopsis of books that I completely forgot. Sometimes I like to go in blind, but if it's a book and I'm like, I've never heard anything about it, I've never really heard a review, I don't know about it much, I think I probably picked this up off the synopsis. However, I actually just unhauled The Good Marriage, and that book was okay, but this like sounds like the same premise. It's like a lawyer who helps someone and gets intrigued by their life, and then things are also going on in their own marriage, so it just sounded very similar. This one I actually want to read, What Happened to the Bennets by Lisa Scottolene? I don't know. I really want to read this. I've heard great things about it. My copy is actually one that I got for free from the library. They always have like a free book section, and I didn't realize until I brought it home that like it does not smell the best. So I still want to read it. Maybe I'll take it out from the library or get a new copy one day, but I am unfortunately going to get rid of this. Next one is The Good Girl by Mary Kubica. I have about 3 Mary Kubicas on my shelf right now that I'm very excited to read, and I don't really love the mass market paperback. I think this was when I was starting to decide if I was going to do like a Mary Kubica reading vlog, and so I picked it up, but ultimately like if I am going to read this one, I'll just get the regular size from the library. This one was in a book bouquet that my husband made me for Valentine's Day 2 or 3 years ago. I read all of the books in the book bouquet except this one. This is Velvet Was the Night by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I know she wrote Mexican Gothic, which is really great, which I really want to read, but the synopsis of this one just like isn't grabbing me too much. Andrew Brown's Deadline. Well, I have 2 shelves down below to do, so I have to do horror, mystery, nonfiction, and then go through my old YA and random books that I can't part with and see if I can part with those. I think that might be where my Ellen Hilderbrand ends up, and I came in short about like 4 or 5 books for thriller still need to get on the shelf, so I'm going to try to fit them in down there. But I'm going to do those 2 shelves together, and then I will show you the last few books that I unhaul, and I will show you what the whole overall shelf finally looks like. Final 2 shelves are done. This kind of ended up being mystery and horror just clumped together. And then I did find a spot for my Ellen Hildebrands. I have some nonfictions, and then down below I have some YA I just can't part with, and then some more nonfiction. So it looks so much cleaner down here. It's actually a really cute spot to film, and I've never filmed in this corner with my books. Mystery and horror shelf complete. The books I'm unhauling. The first one, I've actually read this one. This is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. My cousin loves this trilogy, and she did gift me the whole trilogy. I unfortunately just did not like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I got through it and I thought like it was interesting, but I didn't love it as much as I wanted to, and I thought it was pretty disturbing. It's really sad too because this reminds me of OG booktube. Her name was The Readables, and she was so cool, and she did a review of this book, and like I remember it was like peak beginning of booktube, and it was amazing, and her videos would like go crazy because she was like the only one doing it at the time with that production quality. Like she had such a great production quality for how early, like I don't know if it was like 2010 2000s, but she was really awesome. So I will link her channel. I don't think she ever posted after those few videos, but she was so cool and I was obsessed with her, and I would like watch her video over and over again. I also read, and I just have been keeping it for so long on the bottom shelf as ones I can't part with because I don't know if I just really like the cover. I read this in Masters, so I just like have a fond memory attached with it. But this is Since We Fell by Janice Lehane. I love Shutter Island. I did keep Shutter Island for sure. But yeah, I didn't like this one. It was like a very silly thriller in my opinion, and there's like things that are like annoyingly coincidental happen in this book, and I don't like when thrillers do that. It's this little pocket book of misery that I had sitting down here. I didn't even know that I had this still, but I did DNF Misery, and I gave away my other like way nicer copy of Misery, so I am going to get rid of this. This I actually had thought I already unhauled, so when I saw it down here, it was an easy decision. This is The Sleep Prescription, 7 Days to Unlocking Your Best Rest. And they say sometimes like when you overanalyze your sleep, it actually makes you sleep worse because you're like freaking out about your sleep, and I kind of felt that with this. I mentioned earlier, I found it, by the way, it was down here. I swear, I feel like books just like go to die down here. I don't know what happens down here that I just chuck them down there. I'm not sure. But The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I've tried it just so many times. I think I probably got this book in like 2013. Definitely oldest, yellowest book on my shelves. I'm going to get rid of this. It's called The Intern by Michelle Campbell. The synopsis, reading it again, is just nothing is done for me, so I don't feel the need to read it. Hauled so long ago from Book Outlet. This is The Death of Jane Lauren. I always stare at this book, and for some reason I really don't want to read it. So if you've read it and you like it, let me know. Yeah, and then I just have a few that I think I'm gonna move to my red shelf because I don't know why they're actually in here. I might get rid of Court of Thorns and Roses. I didn't love the series, so I didn't move on in it, and I actually unhauled the second one. But I'm just worried, like, one day, what if I want to read it again? I don't know. We're undecided. And then I found the first book of that trilogy I was talking about was down here. And I can't decide if I'm going to unhaul it or not, or what I'd want to reread this. I feel like I have so many other good romances to read. Yeah, I'm going to unhaul this one too. I can't believe how many I unhauled just through going through these shelves. Like, I always stared at the shelves and was like, I love everything. I'm not going to unhaul anything. And I probably unhauled maybe 20 books. I'm gonna put the number right here of how many I unhauled. It was successful. I feel so much lighter that this is all done. Literally every night our bed stares at the bookshelf, so every night when we go to sleep I'm always staring at it and I'm like, I need to clean it up and organize it. Honestly, you might see me back here in this little nook again. It's so cute sitting down here. If my husband were to come home, he would smack me in the face with the door, but that's okay. But thank you so much for watching. If I am unhauling any books that you think I might really like, please let me know. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video very soon.